Hey friends, welcome back to yet some more Reddit stories about entitled people, insane people, and all that kind of stuff. Hope you're all doing awesome today. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet for more Reddit content, and let's get into today's stories. The kitten I adopted out of spite. My then 15-year-old daughter and I visited the local Humane Society on a weekly basis. It was free therapy for her, as cuddling the kittens and watching them play was a great endorphin rush. We were in the kitten room when a little girl, maybe 6 or 7, entered with her father. I watched as she manhandled kittens, picking them up by their legs, hitting one on the head after it swiped at her, and listened to her whiny voice saying, "That one's ugly," or "Yuck, look at his eye, that's gross," about a kitten with an obviously healing eye injury. She eventually zeroed in on the only little orange and white kitten who was very chill despite her aggressive handling of it. She declared to her dad after a few moments that this was the one she wanted. Her dad asked if she was sure, and she said yes. She spent a few more minutes holding him up in the air, bouncing him around like a ball, and just really being a little brat. I stood up and went to the wall where all the cage cards were, and quickly found the sheet for the only orange kitten in the room. I took it out of the slot and sat back down. After a few more minutes, I walked up to the little girl and nicely said, "Can I please have him? We are adopting him." She glared at me and said, "No, he's mine." Her dad walked over and I said, "We had visited him earlier. We even have his cage card. I'm sorry." He told his daughter to hand over the kitten and she lost her shit. She carried on and screamed like a spoiled brat for 5 minutes while holding on to the terrified kitten who was trying to get away. She only wanted the orange one and didn't like any of the other ugly kittens. It took her dad yelling at her to get her to finally throw the kitten across the room and stomp away. My daughter went and picked up the kitten, and long story short, Otis has now been happily living his best life in my home for 7 years, and we love him so much. My Facebook memory reminded me that today is the anniversary of his gotcha day. If you don't like it, you can just leave. I've been working with the home health agency for the better part of 9 months. I work 12-hour days with cases ranging from complex to simple. In that time, I've worked 11 unscheduled doubles and 42 additional 12-hour overtime shifts. I've used exactly 2 sick days, one for myself and one for my kid. I do not call out, I do not show up late, and I don't do the corner cutting they suggest. I take vacation time on my off days. I've saved them on 3 specific occasions from failing audits. I picked up so much because A, the money is nice, B, I legitimately care about the well-being of my patients, and C, they begged me. You see, the company I work for likes to take on new clients without having enough staff to cover that patient. Then they freak out and offer bonuses for us to pick up. These are governmentally contracted jobs with big DOE bucks coming in. If they can't prove the patient is taken care of, they are fined heavily. Too many fines and they're blackballed from taking new DOE clients at all. This company is so poorly run, it's a joke. They have 8 schedulers, but still send mass texts every single day asking us to pick up. These happen all hours of day and night. They often double book or randomly change schedules without informing clients or nurses. They also underpay for my area. Not much, but paying $4 less per hour is a big deal. They also won't respond to your questions, calls, or texts for days or weeks at a time. I've been looking around for a while and found a company that pays more, has good leadership, and they said they'd have me on the ground running closer to home if I just went through their hiring program. I agreed and have been an employee with them for about a month, just no hours worked yet. I knew I'd be out of town for a couple of days and have 9 days worth of PTO banked. I decided to help them out and ask for 3 days off. I assumed that would give them enough time to fill my spot. I did this on September 13th. The days I requested are October 12th, 13th, and 14th. It's a mini vacation for my family since I worked all summer. Monday I received a nasty email about the final day for PTO requests being September 10th. I let the manager know I was trying to help them out by giving them time to fill it. She shot back with how selfish of me it was to leave her short-handed. She rejected my PTO requests. Tuesday I showed up at the office to discuss this little frustration. I mentioned my exemplary work history and intention of making things easier for them. She slammed the table with her balled fists and said, "You will work those days. I don't care if you have a trip planned to Australia, you'll be there. If you don't like it, you can just leave." It was her nasty smirk that set me off. I stood up, took a mint, and said, "As you wish. I expect all my PTO to be on my next paycheck in accordance with our state's PTO laws. I hope you can fill the opening on such short notice." The look of horror on her face was more valuable than the PTO. In the past 24 plus hours, I've received 19 voicemails asking if I can come into work because they're short. Tonight is my first night with the new company. It ended up being $6 an hour more, 48 minutes each way closer to home, and I get paid 40 hours even though I worked 36. Be careful what you wish for, you may just get it. My tree was cut by an HOA I didn't belong to, so I lit that bastard up. My house is the first house in the neighborhood behind mine. I am on the corner. The street on the side of my home is the Homeowners Association neighborhood, but my front yard is on a different street that isn't part of the HOA. When I moved, I asked them if I could pay their HOA fees to let my kids use the pool and playground directly across the street. Nope. I planted a mulberry tree on the corner of my property and started getting visits from their HOA saying that my branches were too low to the ground and it violated their HOA. I told them if I was in the HOA, you'd see my kids swimming in the pool. Since they didn't, they would have to deal with my tree. My kids love that tree and still come in spring to gather berries, even though they are now in their 20s. Then one day I come home, and someone had lopped off a big branch from the tree, one that went out to the street. I tried to find out who did it, but they kept mum about it, and there wasn't anyone I could go after. So I rebuilt the branch using PVC and wrapped it in bright Christmas lights. It was May, and then wrapped the rest of the tree for good measure. I did it ugly, too. It was propped up with old branches I found in the woods and some rope, and just looked awful. I kept those lights on all the way until just before Christmas, when I took them down. They sent me some letters, but they just went into the trash. The HOA members who came to my house to ask me to bring them down since it was the gateway to their neighborhood, and that I was probably affecting their property values, were told to f*** off. They never did mess with the lights though. I guess they were worried about what I would pull next. I went and looked at my Facebook and found a pic I took. It doesn't have all the lights, but it shows most of the awful glory. You can see the wound on the tree about a foot above the fake branch. Karen accused me of abducting my own son. I, 31 male, recently took my son to a supermarket to get a few things, same place I go to regularly with my kids. Background context: my son, 4, has type 1 diabetes, and when his blood sugar is low, he can be a handful. About halfway around the shop, he started getting a bit irritated. I checked my phone, and yup, his blood sugar was dropping. Stupidly, I had left his sweets in the car, so grabbed some and headed for the checkout. By the time we were done, he was getting very upset and wouldn't eat the sweets I had just bought, so it was time to beeline to the car to chill him out and give him some other sweets. At the exit of the store, I am half dragging/carrying my son in the bags of shopping. I don't like to make a big thing of his hypos because it's totally normal for him and not his fault, so I'm pretty chilled talking to him like, "It's okay buddy, let's get to the car," etc. Suddenly a lady appears, grabs my son's arm and starts talking to him. "Little boy, what's wrong? Who is this man and where is he taking you?" At this, my son goes full meltdown, so I pick him up, smile politely, and continue to leave. She doesn't like this. "Excuse me, you can't take this boy, I am speaking to him. Who even are you? Where's his mother?" God forbid a guy take his child anywhere without their mother. Imagine a father looking after his own child. I start to explain I'm his dad. He's not feeling well, so we're leaving. At this point, she grabs me and starts shouting that I'm taking a child. Broad daylight at a busy supermarket, and let's not forget my own son. I am raging. Before I get a chance to verbally unleash on this idiot, a random guy comes over and tells her to F off. At this point, my son is clinging to me and is terrified of the red-faced moron who is still screaming. 10 out of 10 shopping experience, would recommend. The f*** is wrong with these people? You won't change your phone number? Challenge accepted. Christine used to have my phone number 3+ years ago. Clearly, she did not want the baggage in her life to follow to the new number. Debt collectors, old flames, male and female. She was prolific, if nothing else, and others. I can understand this, and Christine, I hope your new life is better today. Debt collectors gave up pretty quickly. I have not heard from one of those for 2 years now. Some of the old flames were very persistent, but eventually gave up as well. The last call/text from her past lovers was a year-ish ago. The big challenge was family, personal appointments, mostly text confirmations why to confirm and to cancel, from doctors, hairdressers, nails, etc., and her employer. I still get the odd call/text from family that can't understand why Christine didn't share her new details. Sorry, I can't help you understand her motivations. As the calls/texts would come in, I explained it's not her number anymore, please get her to update her details. Normal stuff for someone changing their number. People would say, thanks, we will get her to update. Over time as this continued, I started getting frustrated. I cited HIPAA to medical and became a bit of a nuisance to others. That helped a bit, but largely there was no change. As personal appointments kept coming in more than a year later, enough was enough. I accepted the challenge of forcing change. I ignored confirmation messages until the day before when the last confirmation typically gets sent out. I canceled everything. Gynecologist, cancel. Hair appointment, cancel. Lawyer app, cancel. If they called to confirm, sorry, Christine can't make it anymore. Slowly, she started changing her number. No one wants appointments they make getting canceled after waiting for weeks or months. Good luck getting in again in any reasonable time frame. The best was just over 1 year in, I got a text from her boss. He wanted her to come in early for a special meeting the next day. I did the only reasonable thing and politely quit for her. The next day I got a very terse text from her boss, saying how unprofessional, unkind, not funny, etc. that my text was. Get Christine to effing change her number. I then got a very expletive-filled text from Christine. My response, change your number or I will keep canceling all your appointments. At that point, I don't think she realized how her appointments were getting canceled. A second, even more expletive-filled text followed. I LOL'd in response. Guess what? No more personal appointments. Still the occasional family member though. How lazy can you be? Alright everyone, that's it for today's stories. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more Reddit content. So take care, I'll see you next time.